Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pottery 3, the Slab House. In this one, you're going to be going back to what you kind of learned a little bit back as year one students, and you're going to focus more on slab building for this project. With this one, you are going to kind of construct primarily out of slabs, but don't feel like you're limited to just that. But primarily, 75%, or so should be built out of this technique. And you're going to construct a house. Now, first off, when you think of a house, you think of four walls. You think about what you normally live in, and on the first part up here it says type of house. I would keep this one as your basic, so you can write down the house you live in. You can write down mobile home. You can write down something different. That's kind of fitting a little bit more within our society or like our culture, on kind of things. So just your typical house. Do a quick sketch of how you think you would construct it, and then the extras, and that's a big part of your grade. If I scroll down really quick, 40% of your grade is based on details. Okay, that's a lot. So make sure you think of windows, window sills, window shutters. You think of steps. You think of railing. You think of the texture within bricks. You think of siding. You think of shingles. You think of all that good stuff that makes your project a Pottery 3 project. Okay, so really push the envelope on the details that you can kind of get with this. Okay. Now, as I scroll down, it says challenge your assumptions, about what a house is, and this can be a little more, more fantasy like. You can think of other cultures as well. I always caution students when they try to come up with something easy to do, because if you don't have anything to work with, you can't get that 40% of your grade. So make sure there is still something that you can pull from it, that to get that level of detail. Some type of house. Maybe think back of when you used to listen to nursery rhymes. Maybe you could do a set of three of the three little pigs, kind of thing, and you could build these small miniatures, of houses, as you kind of work your way through the straw and then mud and then the wood. Brick is the last one. I remember that one for sure. Straw. I can't remember what the middle one was. Um, maybe you're probably already saying it, but maybe you could make a small one, a little more miniature, and then have a set. That'd be pretty cool. In terms of how you could play around with it. Think about where you could put the mailbox. It could be like on the side of the house, kind of thing. You could think of the straw in terms of how you would come up with a way of carving out details. In that, think of how you could use um, like Play-Doh tools, to create more of the spaghetti-like look. I don't know. I'm sure you could come up with something cool. And then I saw like maybe that top one there could be three little pigs. And maybe the bottom one, maybe could be some kind of a miniature castle. So don't ever go real big on these because slabs have a tendency to kind of concave on there. So you don't want to go mass. You don't want to go real big with it. And talk to me in class about what size you think we should go. So you have the three little pigs, you have the castle, maybe you could come up with a drawbridge. Maybe this could be on a setting where you might have a moat, on there, some spires, that are going on the sides, come up with a sketch. So once we have two ideas kind of in that section, it says quick sketch, which is your best one? Which one do you feel like this one could go somewhere? And then the same thing on the right hand side, you have your four blocks, you can come up with four main ideas, or maybe a main idea might be one of the blocks. You could write down wall, and then you could write down brick, wood, and something else as you go along there. So just fill that extras up, so to make sure you kind of get those points. Scroll down. I mean, you have two more other ideas, that you can kind of play around. um, I could think of just culturally speaking, but then I start thinking of Lord of the Rings, and then the Hobbit holes. You could think of how maybe even in like New York, where your houses are not like what we live in, but they're apartments, or they're just these skinnies, that are there. I don't know. There's just tons of stuff, but and then you come up with that third one, same thing. Out of those two, come up with something cool. Okay, so lots of ideas within that. Again, pay attention to this information. make sure you have a great concept that's well executed. Construction of the slab is well tended to. Remember, you want this to dry slowly. You want your slabs to be kind of all at the same moisture level when you build it. Otherwise, if they are vastly different, especially they will crack. Okay, we will fire these. We might end up using a colored slip, or we might end up coloring with acrylic and then doing like a spray on there and make it all glossy, unless you want a matte finish. So different options you can kind of think about. Other than that, good luck on the project, and let me know if you have any questions.